Welcome, everybody, to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BetSperts. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me, as always, with a fun little pocket on his sweatshirt. I wonder if he's ever put anything in there. How's it going, Andy?
Pretty damn good. I didn't sleep well because tennis is on, and my sleep is currently effed all the time because of the Australian Open. And I bet the latest damn game in the basketball slate, which luckily came through. Somebody said that to me too. He's like, because yesterday it got bet down all the way to 1 at some places, +1, and I bet 3.5, and they lost by 3. And I said, closing line value is nice, winning is great, but when you combine them both and the number actually mattered, it's the best feeling in the world, getting the good number and making it actually happen. So felt good. Tennis was okay. I kind of was hoping Rafa would win. That didn't work out, but some good tennis overall. I had some futures on Medvedev to beat our guy Rublev. That was a no-doubter. He blasted him. We'll get to some more tennis later. We'll probably start with some basketball picks. And we are into, kind of a quick tease. We are into the semifinals of the Australian Open. So there's fewer matches now, but they are high level, really good matches. Super excited for that. And then, of course, some people I've been getting more DMs. People have been getting their sweatshirts, which is just awesome. I'm glad you like them. Again, if you want a sweatshirt,
They're great.
Sign up in Michigan, New Jersey, or Colorado and get a free hoodie of your choice. If you sign up using the links in the YouTube description or the podcast description, plus the free bet, which is pretty nice, 500 in New Jersey and Colorado, 1,000.
1,000 big ones.
$1,000 damn dollars. But yeah, there's a decent slate of pro basketball tonight. It looks like you dove face first.
Quite a few games. We've got 10 tonight, and we'll have a little change of pace here. We'll start with the side because I want to hold out on this a little bit longer. Indiana -5.5 here. They've got the Minnesota Timberwolves who played last night. D'Angelo Russell is out for Minnesota, which really hampers their guard production. Indiana's a team that generally struggles against better shooting teams, especially teams with strong shooting on the wings. That is not what Minnesota does well. So it's a really nice matchup for Indiana. On the other end of the floor, Karl Anthony Towns is one of the best centers in the league and generally challenges teams. Indiana is one of the few teams that has not just one, but two good big men that can slow him down and kind of corral him a little bit. So I like Indiana here. I know that normally we bet underdogs here, but we're going to grab the -5.5 here with Indiana. As I look right now, I see some sixes starting to pop up. I'm fine with that. Let's -5, -5.5, -6. Those are all good numbers.
Oh, favorite, whatever. You're weird with it.
And then we had somebody in the comments here. Well, Big Mike, you're very correct. Unfortunately, it looks like this number's moved quite a bit. Grabbed this probably about an hour ago, maybe even an hour and a half at 233 or something like that. Thought 234 would still be around, but as I look right now, unfortunately, we're starting to see 237s pop up. That's out of range for me. So was able to grab this earlier. If you follow me on the BetSperts app, again, you can find me there, Alex Christensen, no space. You can find Andy as well. He's just Andy, a little bit easier there. But if you follow me there, you got your notification earlier, and we're holding 233, 233.5, 234, depending on how quickly you got in. Just a great over spot here. New Orleans has been playing at an absolutely torrid pace. Portland loves to run. You've got some guards in Portland that are going to give the Pelicans trouble on defense. Conversely, on the other end, New Orleans loves playing against teams that don't necessarily have great big men or a lot of depth at that position. And that's exactly what happened last night in Memphis. And I think that's what's going to happen tonight in Portland. I think they're going to get a lot of easy baskets, and you're just going to see kind of a torrid pace here. So if this does tick back down to 234 or maybe even 235 for a smaller play, I would advocate that. But it looks like we're out of range for now, unfortunately, Andy.
What are you going to do?
It's why you got to bet early sometimes. I know that. It's
like, I did, again, going back to my one play, one shot, one kill yesterday, I did say, like, you could play this down to 3. I wouldn't go much further. It landed on 3. Like, I felt good giving halfway good advice, because sometimes I'll be like hell with it. Play it on the money line. I don't care. But no, it said there is, and Alex is really good about this, saying like this is about as far as you should play this, and because there are certain ranges, like there's line moves that they move far enough where there's probably value on the other side at a certain point. So thank you for being halfway reasonable.
Try to give everybody a little range here so we can all play. Continuing the over full day. No unders today, guys. We've got 2 more totals. This is the first one, and I promise the last one is not an under either. The New York Knickerbockers are playing the Magic of Orlando. I like the over here. I have this total closer to 213. So I would play this at over 209. I would even play over 210, frankly, which we're getting close. I see over 209.5 starting to pop. I draw the line here at 210. The Knicks have been scoring more. Orlando has been playing at a faster pace here. Vucevic should have a great night here. If you're a daily fantasy player, Mitchell Robinson is out, so Vucevic should put up some really nice numbers here against the Knicks. Should again be, I think, 2 teams whose pace is on the rise. Orlando's finally starting to find some equilibrium with all the injuries and lack of players, and happy to grab the over here and what I think should be a fun game to watch, actually, which is hard to believe with these 2 teams.
Overs, like I don't know. It's like I don't know you.
Well, we got one more. The Detroit Pistons against the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls have been an over team for me this year. They've been one of the few teams I have bet the over on. Detroit, without Blake Griffin, who is doing one of the more bizarre holdouts I've ever seen in my life. He apparently is not going to play for the Pistons unless they trade him. So I guess that's the end of his career, at least until his contract is out. Maybe he gets signed as a free agent. It's been a funny season in terms of trades, and we talked about this in some of the NBA shows I did yesterday. It's just a lot of guys that are like, I want to get traded, and I keep looking at them going, well, who would even want you? Anyway, Detroit, Chicago, we like the over here. The Pistons play faster without Blake Griffin, and I think they're actually a little more potent offensively, frankly. So I think that helps us out quite a bit here. Chicago has just been a dead nuts over team all year, so happy to continue that. I have this closer to 226 myself, 227. This is one of my bigger edges tonight, frankly. So let's try to see if you can get over 220. I'd play this up to 222, maybe even 223, if I'm being honest.
222. Well, if you're going to bet overs, I'm going to bet a favorite then, whatever.
Let's do it.
Normally dog.
Wacky Wednesday here.
I've bet more favorites this year. And I think just the way some of my numbers work, it takes a smaller edge for me to want to bet a favorite. Like I don't need to show as big of an edge because I just favor favorites so infrequently. This is a number I just double checked. This is still a number you can get right now. Central Florida is playing South Florida. South Florida is a team I faded the other week, I believe, against Tulane. They don't do a lot great. In fact, neither of these teams are good. I mean, they're okay. I mean, they're middle of the pack teams. Neither of them has a really good record for the kind of skill level I think they should have, but it's not an easy conference. So South Florida, great on the offensive glass. In fact, they're massive. Big guys, huge front court, really tall, but they are going up against my Central Florida Knights, who do have some length and height themselves. I think they should be able to neutralize that today. That won't be as big of a problem as against some of these other teams that don't have the size, don't have the front court to compete on the offensive and defensive glass. So if they can keep them from getting a bunch of extra possessions, as South Florida is wont to do, I do believe Central Florida should cover this. I have this closer to like 4.5. So I'm happy to play this at 3. I don't know if I'd go much further, especially since it's pretty widely available at 3. And I feel like there is some Central Florida, or there will be some South Florida backers as well, just because of these teams played earlier in the year. South Florida did win. They won by 7. They were at home for that game, though. This one will be not in – God, where's South Florida? South Florida's Tampa. Central Florida's Orlando, I believe. So the Knights will be hosting this game. So Johnny Dawkins and the boys getting it done, -3. Only play I have today. Again, it's been a lighter year. There's a lot of cancellations. It's screwy. So it sucks not having as many plays, but I'd rather have winners than volume, I guess.
What we like to do. We like winners. Volume's fun. But we like winners. It seems like one of our fans here, Patrick, is pretty confident in us, Andy. He's so freaked out. We're betting overs and favorites. Looks like he's just going to go with it.
I do have a quick anecdote on that. Somebody tracked all my basketball plays from last year, and he said if you put together a parlay every single day that you had multiple picks, It's like you'd be up 20 extra units because there were enough days where I had 2-0, 3-0 days, or a 5-0 day in one case, that it made up for all the days that, you go 1-1 or 1-2, 2-3, things like that. Something to think about. But I'm certainly not advocating it, but it just made me think. He did it with a few different people. He's like, you should parlay your daily picks just more often than you do, which is not at all. So not advice, just a story I like to tell.
Quite a tease. That was
I know.
kind of naughty there, Andy.
I wish I could go back in time and do that.
Antagonizing everyone.
I did have a 4-0 and a 5-0 day back to back. I mean, those are, what's that, 10-1 and 20-1? Those have been a couple. Just place them on those 2 days, and then you're golden. So we did kind of tease. We did kind of tease tennis. Without getting too deep into the backstory, we're going to be hitting semifinals on the men's side soon. It's obviously only Wednesday, but we will have. It almost chalked out. It almost went 3 of the top 4 seeds, and then a unranked qualifier, or unseeded qualifier rather. So it would have been weird, but we did end up with high enough seeds to call it pretty chalky, and then one less than chalky place. So Djokovic and Karatsev in the top half, and Tsitsipas Medvedev. So some pretty good finals, or pretty good semifinals, and then what's it? Serena Osaka and Muhova and
Brady. Our girl Jen.
Brady. I was gonna say, so 2 Americans in the semifinals. We could have I doubt we have an all-American final. I think both would be. Is Brady an underdog?
No, Brady's a favorite here. So on the women's side, Osaka's -165, Serena Williams +135. A lot of support for Osaka, and that made sense to me around the opener. She opened around -120, -125. But at this point, I'm starting to think about betting Serena Williams. If this gets out to like +150 or some number better than that, and that's where it's headed. I mean, Osaka's been taking money ever since this line opened. It's been slowly just a few cents added to Serena's price, every couple hours here. So if we get up close to the +150 range, I think I talked about this on the show before, but Serena Williams has looked great. I mean, she's not back to being herself. This isn't, Serena Williams, greatest women's tennis player of all time, but this is 80 to 85% of that, which is pretty stinking good. And Naomi Osaka has hit the plate very well, but outside of her win over Shea, which again, 6-2, 6-2 was absolutely incredible. Every other win has been really tough for her. She's struggled at certain points of the matches, and I know she has supreme confidence here, having beaten Serena a few times, one time pretty famously, I'm sure, as everyone remembers, from the U.S. Open there. But it's the love has maybe gone a little too far for me. I haven't bet Serena yet, but again, if it gets out to +150, I'm thinking long and hard about that. Brady's a favorite, -180 over Mahova, Machova, and or Makova, depending on which announcer is speaking on ESPN at which particular time. But
I
Brady,
this is Mahova. Like, you don't.
I think it is Mahova.
Yeah,
and it's pretty good for me. I've got Brady as an outright here at a couple different prices. I bet her at 30, and then again at 40 when it moved out a little bit. So love to have her here, and I'm going to let that outright ride a little bit. She looked pretty good last night in her comeback. I think in the first set she was a little overjuiced and kind of maybe too excited to play her fellow countrywoman Jessica Pegula after losing to her a couple weeks ago. But like her in that spot. And the interesting part, Andy, apparently there is 3 semifinals tonight. They're going to play both women's semifinals tonight, and Novak gets to play tonight, whereas normally they do 2 women's, 2 men's. That's pretty interesting. You think they're trying to give Novak like an extra day of rest here? What's going on?
It is a little odd. I'm not sure why they're doing this scheduling-wise. I don't think they're behind by any means. It's not like we've had problems with schedule. So a little out of the ordinary. I'll be interested to see if there is some answer to why they're doing that. But good for us. We get to watch a bunch of tennis tonight. I am not giving this out as like, hey, I'm really excited about this play. But I will be making a small play on Serena Osaka over 22 and essentially Serena Osaka over 2.5 or over 2.5 sets on probably even a smaller bet. So I do believe this goes 3. I might even look at a Osaka wins 2-1, something like that. So just kind of some recreational money on that tonight because it's the only one I really probably will care a lot about. I think Karatsev's the ball might strike midnight on that Cinderella story. He's obviously up against the best that there is right now. That's a big ask from a guy he's come up with some really big matches against some good players. Obviously, this will be far and away his toughest toughest task. So it wouldn't surprise me if he went down in straights. And then I do think Brady wins. I think somebody said, damn, Tom Brady does it all. Different Brady. I don't think they're related. Funny, they're not related, but
also has nothing to do with the Brady bunch. This is Jennifer Brady, not Jan. I always thought it was Jen, not Jan.
But her opponent from the last one is related to the Pagulas of Buffalo Bills fame. So she is in that family. And then this is true. Osaka Serena's matchups have all gone 2 sets to date. Yeah. I don't know how much stock I put in previous matchups going. I just do think that the way they're both playing right now, somebody will step up. The loser of the first set will step up. And honestly, if it goes 2-0 Osaka, I would be fine with that as well, especially if it was a couple tie breaks. So, you made a couple bets.
I did.
Paris
we do still
Island.
have that other tournament, that Phillip Island
Paris
tournament.
Island. I think that's the Marines.
That is, but it's the nice part about tennis. Even though the big matches are going and there might not be as much value there, again, we just kind of talked through all the finals there. It's really tough to pull at any value. Again, if Serena gets that number, I'll be jumping on it, but everything else looks pretty good. So let's go to the Phillip Island tournament. We've talked about this a couple times. Had a little success last night, got both of our totals. Unfortunately, Petra Martic let us down. We're going to take a favorite here. Danielle Rose Collins is playing Daria Kasatkina here. She's minus 133. I would play this up, frankly, to minus 140. I have her closer to minus 150, almost minus 160 in this matchup here. Kasatkina is a very smart player, works hard, but Collins is having a great week. This is a kind of tournament, I picked her to win this before the tournament started. Everything is kind of setting up nicely here. She's played Kasatkina before and lost to her, but that was on clay. Run a much faster service here, which should help Collins with her power game. So I think this will actually be a pretty fun match to watch, and I like Collins here. I think we've got some value on her, minus 133, and I wouldn't play the spread. Kasatkina is the kind of player who, when she does win a set, it's 6-1, 6-2, something goofy like that. So you could have Collins win this match in 3 sets and somehow not cover the spread. So let's just take the money line here since I see some value there.
Yeah, you did 2 out of 3 last night down in, again, I cannot think of the name, whatever
Melbourne.
Island. Melbourne. Well, but what's the island again? Say it.
Phillip Island. Well, it's in Melbourne. They just keep giving it different names. It's all the same courts.
But yeah, the underdog didn't come through, but the totals have been nice lately. So maybe I'll get on some.
Let's try another one then.
Buskova.
Bianca Vanessa Andreescu, also known as the Mississauga Mammoth, starting to play herself in a little bit of shape, but not afraid to play a long match. Marie Buskova, someone here who actually have an outright to win this tournament. I'm going to let ride. It's like 22 or 25 to 1 or something. I think she has a chance to be very competitive here. I think there's a great chance this match goes 3 sets, but happy to take the over 21 games here because a lot of times when I look through this, I end up with a long 2-set match, even if I don't get my 3 sets there. So happy to grab over 21 games with Miss Andreescu and Buskova.
Yeah, the way Andreescu's playing right now, she's still very, very good, and she can be the best player in the world on any given moment. But coming off that layoff, she has been a little susceptible. Wouldn't surprise me if she gets through in 3 here.
A little preseason, working herself into shape.
It's similar to the things we talk about with basketball teams coming off breaks from COVID. It's obviously not COVID related, but she did have a pretty long layoff. I don't have all my golf put together yet. Once I do, I'll post it on BetSperts. I'll post it on Twitter. You'll see all my plays up there. I did. It's funny. Yesterday, I gave out my guy Morikawa at 30-1, and then Bookmaker comes out of the blue and drops him at 47.50. And everybody and their sister bet that. Their numbers were a little odd this week. I do have a couple matchups I'm going to play right away. I'm still working through my card, like I said. I'll do a post on my feed on BetSperts right away once I get everything put together. But Lanto Griffin over Matt Kuchar, laying -1.5 here. I believe this is a plus money price at least. Yeah, it's even money is what I'm getting right now. So that's something I'm looking at. I'm not a big Matt Kuchar fader, but the way Griffin's playing right now, I think this price is a little bit off. So I'm fine with that. And then obviously my favorite one is to fade Jordan Spieth. I haven't done it much this year. I don't know if I was lucky or good. I've said this before. I didn't do it the last couple of weeks, which was hilarious since he was, top 5ing the last couple of weeks. And I'm going to go back to the well because I think he's a little overpriced off some of these high results, and he won't be able to save his ass with his irons this week. So Matsuyama laying 1.5 over Spieth. This is like plus 112. You should be able to get plus money on this as well. I did have somebody from Canada just DM me asking about this. Not every book is going to let you lay strokes like this. They'll just have money lines. So do shop around. I think there's some value, especially in the full tournament matchups. Over 72 holes, there's a lot more variance, and you don't see. I don't run into enough of these that land within a stroke or end up tied to make up for the fact that you're getting like 30 extra cents on this. So I'm fine with laying strokes on both these. Then quick question for you.
This is tough. A lot of the guys that I'm in an NBA chat with, they're all lined up on the Warriors last night. I'm hesitant. I think that the Heat at some point are going to play themselves into some sort of shape here. They still have Bam Adebayo. They still have Jimmy Butler. They still have Eric Spoelstra and all that shooting talent. I just think it's a problem of them not having played enough games yet together with one another. I think that Bam Adebayo has a chance to be the best player on the floor, even with Steph Curry playing. What he does defend offensively and, more importantly, defensively can be huge in this game. I think this is probably a tougher matchup for the Warriors, and maybe a lot of people are giving them credit. So I actually lean the Heat. I was thinking about making a bet on the Heat, but the line looks just about right to me, and a lot of smart guys I know like the Warriors here. So I'm staying away, but I like the Heat.
Yeah, sometimes it's enough to just not flip your mind, but keep you.
I'm already betting overs today.
Yeah,
that's enough.
Don't need to get too nuts. So
that's enough.
All right. Well, we'll be back tomorrow for some more tennis, more golf. I'll have some. And again, it is another West Coast golf tournament, so tee time should be late enough where I can probably talk about some daily golf bets once we get into round 2. I did mention, I'll be doing a post on BetSperts in the feed there about my golf. I will do a daily golf one too once I get those settled up. And then obviously more basketball as we go into the weekend. We'll have a good basketball guest on Friday. And quick recap, I suppose. Over favorite, Chalky McChalkerson. Alex playing the Knicks over, the Portland over, the Detroit over, the Indiana favorite. Jesus. I don't know what's gotten into you, but whatever. I'm also playing a favorite. I picked a nice spring landscape today for anyone who's.
I love it.
Snow. Central Florida, the Knights -3. Tennis, you're better at pronouncing.
Bianca Andreescu and Marie Buzkova over 21 games, and Danielle Collins -133. Again, those are both in the Phillip Island tournament. So if you're clicking around the Australian Open and you're not seeing those names, that is because there is another tournament. Look for WTA Phillip Island.
And then my golf that these are ones I've actually bet already. I haven't fired on everything, but Griffin over Kuchar and Matsuyama over Jordan Spieth, both laying the stroke and a half. These are priced at even money and plus 112 where I bet them so far. So with that, we bid you adieu until tomorrow. Good luck with all your bets. And don't forget to sign up for WinBet, you guys.
Come on.
March Madness is right around the corner. Get your sweatshirt.
Do it for us. Do it for yourselves.
Well, and if you live in Texas, you should drive to somewhere and get the sweatshirt. It's cold down there.
Maybe you're watching the show and you don't want to bet $500. That's fine. Do like a $25 bet. You get it back for free, and then you get a sweatshirt, like a $60 or $70 sweatshirt for $25.
Under Armour. Yes. So, all right. Thank you for watching. Thanks for supporting, and thanks for everything. We'll see you tomorrow. Michigan is lovely this time of year.